Imagine a world where Scar wasn't the villain, where the Dark Prince of the Pride Lands wasn't the traitor we all believed him to be. What if everything we thought we knew was a lie? What if Scar's true story had been buried beneath the sands of time, twisted by those who sought to erase the truth? This is the tale of a forgotten king, a prince wronged, a lion who fought for his family only to be remembered as a monster, Taka. That was his true name, long before he was called Scar. Born the younger brother of Mufasa, he always lived in the shadow of the future king. While Mufasa was strong, noble, and beloved, Taka was intelligent, strategic, and observant. He saw what others did not. From a young age, he knew the Pride Lands were vulnerable. Hyenas lurked at the borders, waiting. Rogue lions tested their strength against the Pride, but no one listened to Taka's warnings. Not even their father, King Ahadi. As they grew older, Mufasa trained to become king. Taka, he was ignored, dismissed as the weaker brother. But what no one knew was that Taka was the one who saved Mufasa's life more than once. From a crocodile attack at the watering hole, from a snake hidden in the tall grass. Each time, Mufasa received the credit, while Taka faded into the background, until the day everything changed. One fateful evening, Taka overheard a secret conversation between their father, Ahadi, and the royal advisors. Mufasa will be king, but Taka, he is dangerous. He sees too much. If he ever challenges his brother, he must be dealt with. Those words shattered something inside him. His own father saw him as a threat, a liability. Heartbroken and furious, Taka ran into the wilderness. That's when the hyenas found him. Not as enemies, but as outcasts, just like him. They showed him something he had never known: loyalty. They listened to him. They followed him. Taka returned to the Pride Lands a different lion, a scar across his eye, not from a hyena attack, but from his own father's punishment when he dared to question his fate. That was the day he stopped being Taka. That was the day Scar was born. Mufasa was a great king, strong, noble, and loved by many. But greatness alone does not keep a kingdom safe. Scar saw what Mufasa refused to acknowledge. The Pride Lands were weakening. The herds were migrating further away. Droughts were lasting longer, and food was becoming scarce. Rogues lingered at the borders, waiting for a moment of weakness. Scar went to Mufasa many times, warning him of what was coming, but Mufasa dismissed him. "The circle of life will balance itself, brother," Mufasa said with confidence. But Scar saw the cracks forming, cracks that could shatter the Pride Lands forever. Determined to find a solution, Scar sought allies beyond the Pride. He turned to the hyenas not as enemies, but as potential partners. He believed they could be integrated into the kingdom, given hunting rights in exchange for loyalty. But when Mufasa found out, he was furious. "You brought scavengers into our land? You betrayed your own kind?" Scar tried to explain, but Mufasa would not listen. To him, Scar's actions were treasonous. In that moment, Scar realized something painful. No matter what he did, Mufasa would always see him as a threat, never as an equal. And so, Scar made a choice. If Mufasa would not protect the kingdom the way it needed, then Scar would do it himself, even if it meant being seen as the villain. Little did he know, that choice would seal his fate forever. The day Mufasa fell was the day Scar lost everything. The wildebeest stampede was no accident. Scar had gone to the gorge to warn Mufasa about growing dangers near the borders: rogue lions, droughts, and rising tensions with the hyenas. But before he could speak to him, a terrible sound rumbled through the canyon. A herd of wildebeests, terrified and out of control, came charging through. Scar's first instinct was to call for help, but by the time he saw Mufasa leap into the chaos to save Simba, it was too late. Mufasa fought his way up the cliff, his claws digging desperately into the edge. Scar rushed forward, not to kill him, but to pull him up. "Brother, hold on," Scar shouted, but before he could act, Mufasa's paws slipped on the loose rocks. His grip failed. Scar reached out. He wasn't fast enough. The look in Mufasa's eyes wasn't betrayal, it was shock. Fear. Scar watched, frozen, as his brother fell into the dust below. When Scar turned, the lionesses had arrived. The way they looked at him, as if they already knew, as if they had already decided who was to blame. Scar tried to speak, but his voice caught in his throat. No one would believe him, not after everything. So he let them believe the lie. And when Simba ran away, Scar saw no choice but to take the throne, not out of greed, but because if he didn't, the Pride Lands would collapse into chaos. Little did he know, the real danger wasn't him. It was the darkness growing in the shadows. Scar had lost everything, his brother, his nephew, and the trust of the Pride. But despite the whispers, despite the way the lionesses looked at him with suspicion, he still clung to one last hope. If Simba had survived, then Scar had a duty. He would find him, raise him, make him the king Mufasa would have wanted. But fate was cruel. One night, as Scar wandered the borders of the Pride Lands, he was ambushed. Zira, his most loyal follower, stood before him. Not as an ally, but as his judge. "You've gone soft, Scar," she sneered, her claws digging into the earth. "You had the throne, the power, and you threw it away. All for a cub that doesn't even care about you." Scar's heart pounded. "She knows Simba is alive," Zira continued. "And you would rather raise him than rule yourself? You're not the lion I thought you were." Scar took a step back. He had always known Zira was ruthless, but this was different. "Zira, we must find Simba. He's the future of the Pride Lands," Scar reasoned, but her laughter echoed through the night. "No, Scar. The Pride Lands need strength, and if you won't be that strength." The moment he saw the others emerge from the shadows, he knew it was too late. Zira had turned his own followers against him. The battle was swift, brutal. Scar fought fiercely, but he was outnumbered. Claws raked his back, fangs tore at his skin. He barely managed to escape with his life, limping into the darkness, wounded and betrayed. But Scar did not die that night. Scar wandered for days, his wounds burning, his strength fading. The Pride Lands were lost to him, but the fire inside him still burned. He had one mission left: Simba. He searched endlessly, across the barren wastelands, through the dens of rogues and outlaws, always chasing whispers of a golden cub who had vanished into the unknown. And then, one day, he found him. Simba, no longer the scared cub who had fled, but a growing young lion. Scar watched from a distance, his heart heavy. Would the cub even remember him? Would he believe the truth? But Scar had no choice. He would not let Zira's vision of a merciless kingdom come true. He would train Simba, guide him, and prepare him to return, not for revenge, for redemption. For the Pride Lands, for Mufasa. And that, my friends, is the untold story of Scar, a lion who was never meant to be king, but was also never meant to be the villain. But what if things had been different? What if Mufasa had listened? What if Scar had been allowed to lead? Would the Pride Lands have thrived, or would they have fallen into darkness? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more twisted alternate Lion King stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for the next big reveal. The truth is never what it seems.